You know, every once in a while, an album comes across your radar, and this is one of those albums where this I listened to this thing 3 times, probably over the past week and a half, 2 weeks, and I've just been completely dumbfounded as to how I was going to do this review. And today we are talking about Austrian Death Machine's Triple Brutal, the third installment in this band's discography. I like Schwarzenegger films. I watched his movies when I was young. I remember Terminator 2 was my first R-rated movie. I saw that when I was 4 years old. I've been a fan of Schwarzenegger ever since, even though, in the late 90s and early 2000s, he kind of lost his way a little bit with things like, End of Days, Eraser even. Eraser's kind of a dumb movie, but at the same time it has its moments. But going back on topic, Austrian Death Machine's third album, I've listened to the previous two before, and looking back, those albums aren't that great. And this album's a little bit harder for me to review objectively because of Tim Lambesis. And without going into, I'll probably touch on this a little bit later, because the way that this album was created, it was funded by Kickstarter, and I'll talk about that later. But going into the album, there are 18 tracks on this album, and this album goes on for, I don't know what's the runtime, but 46 minutes, and there are 18 tracks. And I wouldn't necessarily classify this as very good metal. At the same time, it's very hard to do a comedy album. A comedy music album, you've got things like Spinal Tap that exist, which I think pulled it off perfectly. Spinal Tap are amazing. Austrian Death Machine is, if I had to put it into perspective, with Spinal Tap, are probably the exact opposite of Spinal Tap in the fact that they are not funny. They're not really creative with the music. I would say that at least 6 of these tracks sound the same. There's not really much variety in the instrumentation at all. It sounds like the previous albums. There's really not very much growth here. You've got song titles here such as, it opens up with dialogue between, I'm guessing, Tim Lambesis, and ever since the first album, I've noticed this, the person who's doing the Arnold impersonations, the quality of those impersonations keeps going down and down. You've got a Arnold impersonator who is stretching his voice, I guess you could say, preparing to do singing, going nya 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 nya. It's really annoying. It is one of the most annoying things I've heard on an album in a long time. It's not funny. It's annoying. Pure and simple. And it goes right into I'll Be Back, which, trademark line for Mr. Schwarzenegger. And this song sounds just like I Need Your Clothes, Your Boots, and Your Motorcycle from the previous album, or the first album, whichever song that album was on. Sounds almost identical to it, they just changed the lyrics. With these albums, you are getting nothing but the same, what sounds like the same music and different lyrics each song. What other tracks do we have on here? You've got, and they're all a whole bunch of Schwarzenegger references, except for maybe this one. This one's probably the dumbest song title. It's not funny at all. It's childish. Pumping and Humping, which you can probably imagine what that song is about. It's dumb, childish, immature. That's pretty much how you could sum up this album. Dumb, childish, and immature. I Lied, Brutalitics, which is a 30-second thing about Arnold talking about politics or brutalitics. It's not any good. I'm not a pervert. Brutal Recall. I know now why you cry. Oh boy, we gotta get a ballad in here. I honestly wonder if there are fans of this group, of these albums, that take this seriously. Because I honestly pity them and their intelligence. Because these albums are... I know that sounds super condescending. Holy shit, that sounds super condescending. But the sad thing is that this album is not smart. None of these albums are smart. I can't understand what the target audience for this is. It seems like it would be for Schwarzenegger movies, but it insults Schwarzenegger's work. It turns it into some kind of childish comedy like you would find on a playground perpetuated by a bunch of 6 or 7-year-olds. And then it's just dull. Yeah, I mean, to the layman it may sound like metal, but it's not very good metal at all. This is the kind of metal that you would hear on your stereotypical hard rock station. You know, your shit like Slipknot, Disturbed, your modern metal, your new metal, your metalcore, whatever you want to fucking call it. It's that garbage. That's all it is. It's the same, and nobody really likes it. And then going into how this album was made. This album was done by Kickstarter, which I'm like, more power to you. If you want to make an album and you feel Kickstarter is the way to do it, go for it. This was an album that was created by committee. Apparently there were enough people that wanted this album to happen that it happened. But then the real kicker is, and part of the reason why I have trouble separating the artist from the product, is the shit that's going on with Tim Lambesis, where he tried to hire somebody to kill his wife. And now he's going to prison for it, which is good, but he's trying to get a reduced sentence, which is dumb. Part of this makes me wonder if some of that Kickstarter money, if there was any excess Kickstarter money he was going to use to kill his wife, which would be... I wouldn't necessarily say that'd be hilarious, but I'm not saying that it wouldn't be hilarious. It's a very difficult thing for me to talk about. I know this is probably one of the worst reviews I've ever done because I'm just kind of rambling on, but then again, that's what this album kind of is. It's just a bunch of people in a studio rambling on, and they don't know when to stop. And I think that's a perfect analogy for this album. Don't buy this album. Don't support it. Definitely don't support Tim Lambesis. That piece of shit can rot in jail for all I care. And it's not a very good album. Please don't listen to this, guys. Please don't. I'm begging you. Please do not listen to this garbage. Don't support it. I wouldn't. It's not even worth the hard drive space if you're gonna pirate it. That's how bad this is. I didn't pirate this album. I didn't buy it. I streamed it on Spotify. So maybe they got a few nickels out of me, but please do not. Don't listen to this album, because I know for a fact that my subscribers and my fans are better than this, that they will listen to better material than this. Please, for the love of all things satanic, do not listen to this. Okay, let's go into the stereotypical grade game. What would I give to this album if a grade out of 10? What would I give it? It has very little form, very little structure. It's broken up by by what Tim Lambesis believes to be comedy, which, As I Lay Dying, the last I checked, was a Christian hard rock band, so not exactly well versed in the realm of comedy. The man doesn't even seem like he's that funny, even off the stage. I was curious. I was like, is Tim Lambesis any funny? Let me go look up some interviews, or let me read some interviews. Let me see if the guy's actually funny at all. No, not really. He doesn't seem like a very funny person. If I were to give it a grade out of 10, you know what? Because I really like the movie so much, and the movie's so much better, we're going to give it a 2. Because I really like T2, and I would much rather have watched 46 minutes of Terminator 2 than listen to this piece of trash. So, 2 out of 10 for me. Worst review ever? Well, I'm sure somebody will leave a comment section below. I haven't been doing very... closing out this video, I want to ask you guys to do me a favor. I'm going to be taking a big trip starting next week after I record this, August 12th through the 19th. So I'm pretty much going to be out of town, not going to be able to do any reviews. But before I leave, I want to make sure that there's something that you guys can watch while I'm gone. I need at least 4 or 5 requests for an album in the comment section below. I really want to do some review requests, and I want to have them uploaded for when I'm gone. I feel like you guys definitely deserve that. So, leave at least, down in the comment section below. If I can get 7, that'd be great, because then I can upload 7 reviews, 7 days while I'm gone. If you guys could leave some album recommendations down below that you would like to see me listen to and review, please put it in the comment section below. I would be grateful. Until next time, Danny here from Metal Couch. I'm gonna go watch Terminator 2. See ya.